Overall, this group has been one that has had a lot of hype in recent years, but to come in this year, it's a little under the radar. Mm-hmm. Are you guys kind of liking, trying to kind of be like always talking about you a little bit?
I mean, sometimes that can be a good thing. Mm-hmm. We got a good group of guys, man, that we love coaching. That come out, every day this summer. We got to watch them train and do the things they need to do and develop in the weight room, and just rewinding all the way back to the spring. They attacked it, with a business mindset, and we look forward to what we're going to do in the fall.
Overall, what are you seeing about this group? Do you think it could be 4-down linemen, 3-down linemen most games? Or what are you seeing, especially because a guy like Ezra Antoine can play pretty much anything?
Man, we'll be a mixture of both.
Okay.
We got guys that can play multiple positions. Like I say, they're young, they're tough, they're eager, they're hungry. We believe in them, and they believe in us, and that's the biggest component that we can have.
Overall, what are you seeing? Like Mike Scott, he's kind of the leader there. He's been here. He's redshirt senior. What are you seeing from him building as a leader and just helping out those younger guys?
Just watching him over the summer. His body changed. His approach to everything has changed. Just looking forward to him just putting it all out on the field.
You lost some a lot of people would say some of the leaders on this defense, and certainly in the front seven. Who stepped up in the offseason and taken that role?
You got guys like Brock Martin, that's tough, hard-nosed, loves the program, and he's loyal. You got guys like Brendan Evers, who's done a great job all summer, spring. He's tough, hard-nosed, he's loyal to the program. We have a number of guys in that room that has, stepped up and want to take ownership for what they're doing.
Everybody talks about Malcolm and his wrestling background, but Brock Martin, he was up there. He's a wrestling champion.
That's right.
How much does that help out, that background, being up there and just getting into it in the trenches?
Just with his athletic skill set, he's strong. He has phenomenal balance. He can change directions. He's a good football player. And a lot of times that hard-nosed toughness, could, translate over from what he did in that wrestling room.
Overall, what do you see from this group? You mentioned they're hungry, they're nasty. Do you see them as, a team or a front line that's better at pass rushing, better at run stopping, or are they just a mixture of both?
Just a mixture of both, man. You still got to go out and play the game.
Yeah.
So we're just looking forward to seeing what we're going to be strong at and what these guys are going to make their mark at.
Last year, talking to a lot of the guys, there's a lot more veterans. They always talk about setting the tone up front,
yes.
and being the pride of the defense.
Yeah.
You guys consider yourself as the ones that kind of set everything for the whole defense behind you, that it all starts up front.
Man, we still believe that. Mm-hmm. And the guys in that room still believes that as well. And once they, bought into this winter program this past, off season and head into spring, and like I said, translating over to the summer, you see a group of confident young men that believe in themselves first and foremost, and we believe in them as well.
What do you see from Israel moving over here? Obviously, that you're in the Pac-12. What's he kind of bringing to the table?
He's going to be tough, man. He's a guy that can play 2 or 3 positions. He's big, fast, and he's athletic. And we're looking for him to contribute.
Experience overall, What do you like about this group? Previous years you always have one big name, but this year you just have a lot of talent, a lot of consistency. What do you like about this?
Just like you said, a bunch of guys that have played a lot of plays, so some experience, which is a little different for me than last year. Which I guess that's why you do it, play some of those young guys. But and we've got size. Coach Glass has done a heck of a job, as he does every summer. So sometimes you bring those young kids in, and they're 180 pounds, and you go into play, and you need bigger guys. But I think Peel's 215, and Jark's up over around 200, and Trey Sterling's over 2. I think Malcolm's 210. And they can still play some man-to-man. And I know Tim's guys are a little different because they're more cover guys. But safety-wise, I think Tanner McAllister's up around 190 something. So. Jason Taylor's put on a bunch of weight, and he's got a great future. I think just having big physical kids that are so young and have playing time is great. Obviously, their work ethic's good. They're smart guys, which, a few years ago, I know you guys remember when Coach talked about we need to recruit smarter, some guys that can get lined up and think and do that. Well, we did, and we got some good students back there, students of the game, smart guys that talk, and so they communicate, which is huge back there. So it's just all around. Now now we need to go get some turnovers, get our hands on the ball, and make plays. So.
How many guys do you think you're going to have in the field at one time? You know, maybe 3. Do you think you see yourself having somebody who goes up to the line like you had in previous years and be more of a striker a little bit?
Yeah, well, we play the 4-2-5 scheme, so whether you're 3 down, 4, whatever the scheme is, still always going to be 5 DBs or more on the field, which is nice. Some of those guys have played linebacker in high school. Malcolm, Colby, Peel, I think Trey Sterling may have. So some of the bigger guys. But, I think all of the safeties, maybe Tanner hasn't done much of it. And I don't know if Jason Taylor has done, although Jason's big enough to do it. Most of the other guys have all played near the line of scrimmage too. So there's a lot of flexibility to play them up on a tight end, play off, play man coverage. So it's kind of nice having some flexibility.
You mentioned the size and getting bigger over the offseason. What have you seen from them, in terms of that mental strength you talked about, learning the game, getting better at the game, growth-wise this offseason? Yeah,
well, you give all that credit to Rob Glass and his staff. Those guys are unbelievable. No doubt. I've been around for a while, like I say every year, been around too long, but best strength staff in the country, no doubt. They say body by Glass. That's a no-brainer. I mean, that's where the program starts. With the strength staff, they're with them as much or more than we are through the summer, and we have certain time limits, but they're actually with them a lot. So they create a huge mental discipline in the kids. They kind of turn them over to you in August 1 and say, here we go, man, check these guys out. I was looking at their bodies the other day, and, Peel is all ripped up, and Jason Taylor at 195, he's put on 15 pounds, and they all look, even Kenyon Williams, I think, put on 10 or 12 pounds. He was kind of a little skinny, 175. Now he's like 185 or close to 190. So, and he's all yoked up, so they come to you ready to roll, which is huge.
Do you see Colby? I know he's getting a lot of push this year in the offseason. A lot of people talking about him. How do you see him handle his expectations as a young player?
Colby Peel is like this, which is awesome. You love guys like the old Tom Landry deal. He's like that. That's how Colby is. Until he does a couple of his whatever those things are over his head, he gets fired up once in a while. That's why in the bowl game I had to try to wake him up a couple of times with a forearm after that 4th down stop. I wanted to see if he had a heartbeat over there. But he doesn't. He never wavers. That's why he's a great player, I think, is he just goes out and plays ball. And nothing, doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. If we tell him to play man, he plays man. Even though, he might be across from a 4-3 guy, he seems to just go play. He's probably got the cleanest feet I've ever seen in a football player, one of them. I've been around some good ones, but he's got really clean with good feet. He can play any position because of that. He doesn't do a lot of – he doesn't get himself in bad positions. So he can – but he's – I think he's going to do this. I'm hoping, we'll see. Now that he's got the scheme figured out and he's played a lot, now I'd love to see him go, attack the ball and go get it and go make some plays, which I'm sure he will, so –
Compared to your first year here, what are all of you seeing this group just grow? I know you had to bring a lot of transfers in, but now you're getting to the point to where you're getting homegrown guys. They're coming in here every 4 years. What are you seeing different about this group than when you first took over?
When I got here, we obviously had some good players. I was lucky that Tim was the safeties coach before I was. So, we had Stearns. I love Jordan Stearns. I still stay in touch with Stearns. I would still take 10 Jordan Stearns. He's just a football player. But and obviously Flowers turned into a heck of a cover guy and a big-time player, play forever in the league. But so we had some guys, Morrow. We had a good group when I got here. We just, that group went out together, which was, you'd like to have a little, because we took that transfer, Moncrief, who was a good leader. I had a good group, but they were all kind of the same year, so a year or two. So there wasn't that playing young guys in between, so we had a tough transitional deal last year, having to just go from Flowers and Richards and Morrow to freshmen. So you'd like to transition a little bit better and get some guys, which I think we can do now. Malcolm's a junior, Colby and Jark are sophomores, Jason, Kenyon are freshmen. So we got 5 or 6 guys that hopefully are in different classes, which is nice. And now you can if you can have a couple guys graduate each year and 3 or 4 new guys rolling in with some playing time, that would be ideal. So I think our depth has helped. Kanayan's going to be a good one. Tanner's going to be, I can't think, Flanagan's here. He still needs to get on the field, so we'll see. But at least there's 7 or 8 guys that, can contribut. So,
as Malcolm emerging that upperclassman, obviously getting so much playing time the past couple of years too.
He's not one of those, he's an unbelievable competitor. And he's one of those guys, I guess maybe like James Washington. Not saying he's James Washington, but the same mentality. He's not a big vocal, rah-rah. Some guys lead different ways. So he's just a go get it done, make a play, tough guy, wrestle. He's going to scrap, he's going to work, he's tougher than heck. He's actually a lot better athlete than everybody thinks, because being a wrestler, he's a knee bender and he can change the he does things more athletic than and he won a ton of championships in high school. He just has that leadership quality, but he's not one of those guys that's out there in practice rah this, hey, he's doing his job, he's making sure guys are in right, and then he's going knock heck at you. And he's a football player and a competitor, but he's a silent leader, which is fine. I don't care how they get it done. So.